Chemical waving. This section is 20 minutes long. You will perform chemical waving. You will wrap the entire center back section of the head from crown to nape. Once you are finished wrapping, please step back and do nothing until the next verbal instructions are given. You will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will have 20 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 10 minutes remaining. Do not perform the saturation procedure, a test curl, or remove a rod until instructed individually by the examiner to do so. Do not remove the remaining rods until you are instructed to do so. Step back to indicate that you have finished. You may begin. So what she's doing here is actually sectioning. You are taught a 9-section part in beginners, but on our practical examination, you do not have to do that. I just want you to section it and get it out of the way. However, do not section until the chemical waving has actually started. A lot of people want to section during the setup of client number 2, but do not section until chemical waving begins. Again, they're just looking to make sure that you can get that hair, get it out of the way, and start the rolling. You're gonna wrap it from the entire center back section of the head from crown to nape. Please make sure that your rod size is appropriate for the hair. Your sections should be the same length and width. Your subsections should be the same length and width as your rod. You also want to make sure that you're wrapping this hair wet. When you're wetting the hair, if you do get water on the floor, please stop what you're doing and clean this up immediately. Again, make sure your subsections are the same length and width as your rod. This needs to be consistent throughout the wrap. Make sure when you're wrapping that you pull the hair beyond the ends. This will eliminate any fish hooks. Make sure that you are wrapping under. And please make sure that you are consistent with your rod placement. on base, half off, on base, whichever you're doing, make sure that it is consistent throughout the wrap. Another recommendation that you can use is once you get near the bottom of the mannequin's head, you might want to tilt it forward. This will help you wrap so that your rod placement stays consistent. If one of your end papers falls out, make sure that you rewrap it. If an end paper falls on the floor or if a rod falls on the floor, make sure you dispose of it correctly, whether that be in items to be disinfected or trash. Sanitize your hands and get back started. Make sure your bands are not twisted on your rods. Okay, so once you complete the perm wrap, if you have time left over in your 20 minutes, please go ahead and sanitize your hands, put on your gloves. You're gonna base the entire head around, and then you're gonna apply your cotton to your perm section. So you're just gonna put the cotton around what you actually wrapped. During the actual saturation process, you're gonna use a actual waving lotion bottle. Again, this is not gonna be labeled. It needs to have the actual manufacturer's label. So you will need to find a waving lotion bottle to take to your North Carolina practical exam. Each time you go into a bag, whether it's to get an end paper, cotton, a perm rod, whatever it is, each time you go into a bag, make sure that you sanitize your hands. So once the 20 minutes is up for chemical waving, the examiner is going to read, all candidates have indicated that they have completed this section. Please do nothing until the next verbal instructions are given. They are individually going to visit your station and say, please demonstrate saturation. While demonstrating saturation, please do not let the tip of your waving lotion come in contact with the rod or the hair. You're going to saturate as you were taught. You're going to saturate the rods until the examiner stops you. And once you're finished, you can take your waving lotion bottle and put it into the trash. Next, the examiner is going to say, please demonstrate a test curl. During this, you're going to unroll the rod 1.5 turns, hold it to relax, and wrap it back up. You are not going to push the rod for an S shape. As it is just water, it is no chemical. Then the examiner is going to say, please remove one rod from the head. What the examiner is checking for is to make sure that you do not put the rod back on your station or the perm wrap, that you put the rod into items to be disinfected, and that you take your end paper and put it into the trash. Please do not take the rods down until you are told to do so. All examiners have indicated that they are ready to proceed. You will remove all remaining rods from the head and create 5 sections for the remaining chemical services. You will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will have 5 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 2 minutes remaining. Please step back to indicate that you have finished. You may begin. Again, make sure you don't lay these rods back on your station. When you pull them out, you should put your end papers in trash and your rods into items to be disinfected.